Okay, well, maybe it's just me, or maybe that's Dave. I had the time set wrong for this. Again, that happens from time to time. I'm not sure why. I think I set the. It seems like it's on a different time zone for some reason. Oh, hi, Suze. So someone else decided to try and see if I would be here when I said I would be here. Um, I'm gonna have to figure out why the time zone keeps changing. I feel like it maybe was last Saturday too, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. It's whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be here. Not at 6, almost never at 6. That would be highly unusual, so I wouldn't count on that. So if you see 6, you can be sure that it's just upside down 9. Right, well, we'll give it a few minutes and see if other people discover that we are doing this. So it was really warm yesterday. I think it's supposed to be warm again today. I'd like to say unseasonably warm, but I don't think it is. I think this is probably very normal. It's just my body is unseasonably accustomed to the colder weather, and it seems crazy hot. Um, but, that's how it is, right? We haven't had much heat or humidity. It's been very dry, very windy this whole spring. So this is kind of uh, how it's supposed to be, right? So maybe just sit and breathe for a few minutes before we get going. Oh, I didn't even know you had a laptop up there. Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't see how you could use the phone. I mean, I guess people probably are using phones, but it's pretty small. You need a tripod so you can set it right close. So Saturday morning, my husband does the class with us. So you can, I end up chatting with him here because I remember all these things. So Dave, there were skunks outside last night. I could smell them, and also those raccoons, like that crazy raccoon sound. So it's like wild America over around here. I I gotta get. I have my husband got me a game camera to try to try to get a handle on what's going on out back. Uh, we have a double lot, like one vacant sort of vacant lot, even though it's just part of the property, but it's basically like another empty space that goes all the way back to the road behind us. So it's like a whole city, half a city block or something. I don't know. It's a big chunk for in a town. Um, and even though it's not wild or anything, there's a lot of animals that run through here. We get deer, we get um, raccoons and skunks and Um, Possums, I think we've gotten them on the game camera too. So there's a lot going on. Yeah, that's what happens in spring, right? But yeah, I don't have I got to get the chip back in the camera so I can look at the pictures. The thing that really surprised me, I guess, were the deer. We had a bunch of deer in the garden last fall, and they would come every night and spend. Oh yeah, foxes. We got a lot of foxes. Spend a couple hours, grazing in the garden, and there wasn't much for them to eat at that point, but they must jump right over our fence and get in. So at least they don't stay. At least they jump back out. So that's good. Not that I don't dislike deer, but I don't want to see any in my yard. They can stay. They stay in their space. I'll stay in mine. That makes me happy. All right. Well, let's get started. We would just sit here and breathe for a little bit. Bringing your attention to the body, to the sensations you're feeling. Notice how you're feeling kind of mentally and emotionally. Right? Usually, first thing in the morning, we feel pretty good. We haven't really had too much time to get aggravated for the day. But sometimes you wake up feeling kind of off. I had a really scary dream last night, and one of those dreams where you wake up and you are afraid that it was true, and you got to take a moment and think about, like, wait, is this real? Is this not real? Um, and as my husband reminded me this morning, that whether things happen or not, if you are feeling them in your mind, if you are experiencing them, you are experiencing them. And a dream is a good example of that. So even though nothing in the dream is real, your body's reacting as if it is. You're going to experience all of those sensations, and you know it might as well be real. So that's something to remember, is that we do make our own reality. Right? So our experience of a certain situation will be different from someone else's, based on our own experience, our own beliefs and thought processes and thought patterns. Um, and our experience is very real, just as everyone else's experiences is very real. But we make a mistake when we don't recognize and understand that other people can experience the exact same set of circumstances in a very different way. So don't assume that your experience is the same as everyone else's. Um, None of us really see things clearly for what they are in truth, right? Because if we could do that, we would be enlightened and beyond all of this worldly stuff, right? But we are a worldly being. We carry in ourselves all of this baggage, all of this stuff that we've built up over the years. So we're working towards getting a clearer understanding and view of what's really going on, but it's not easy to get there, and we're not likely to stay there once we get there. Maybe a brief visit, I guess. So just remember that. Remember, to be understanding of other people and their what brought them to where they are, and understanding with yourself too that we aren't going to get it right all the time, um, but we just keep trying. That's all. Take one more breath, and then let's bring the chin down toward the chest. And then move the head around. One way, and then reversing. And back to center. I'm going to scoot back. You're going to lean forward here and move around. One way and then the other. And back up to your seat. Arms wide. Breath in here and then exhale, hands to center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the arms. Gaze up. And then hands down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Once more. Lifting up. And then right arm comes down. Let's reach across with the left. And switch. Come on back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And roll forward. Right hand on your left knee, left arm behind you. Sit up tall. Take a breath and twist. Back to center. Switch sides. And back to center. Tabletop. And then child's pose. Coming back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Walk it out a little. If you want to walk your feet to the edges of the mat, give that a try. And then stepping the feet up to the hands. Let's be in a fold. A few breaths. Rising up slowly. And then standing tall. Breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the right. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, moving back. Downward dog. One more breath. And then let's come forward to high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lifting up, just head and chest. And lower. Inhale, lifting up. Lower. And once more. Lower down. Coming back up, tabletop to downward dog. One more breath. And then right foot steps up. We'll set the left knee down. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step up with the back foot. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the arms. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank. Let's hold this. And then lower down. Inhale, lifting head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. And once more. Lifting up. And lower down. And then we're going to move back up. Tabletop downward dog. One more breath here. And then left foot steps up. Right knee drops. Arms overhead. And hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms high. And back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift up the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're stepping back with the left. Press down with both feet. Arms overhead. And then we're going to bring the arms back, sort of like airplane arms, but straight back, leaning out over that right leg. And then hands down to the mat. We're going to fold over. The right leg, you might work to straighten. And then let's just walk the hands around to the left. And turning the feet so we're facing the side. We're going to fold. You can do whatever you want here. Hands on the floor. You can walk them back. And drawing the body down closer. Whatever works today. And then you've got hands down to the mat or on a block or whatever. You've got here, we're going to bring right hand to center, left hand on the hip. Inhale, we're kind of lengthening out here and then taking a twist. Back to center. Switch your hands. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, twist. Both hands down to the mat. And then bringing the hands to the waist or the hips. Use that leg strength to help lift you up. Breath here. If you feel lightheaded, hands up over the head. And then turn. So we're facing the front of the mat. Right foot is out, left foot behind. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze shoulders back. See if you can draw the palms together. Take a breath and fold forward. Press down with the right foot, lifting up. Back foot comes up to the front, arms overhead, back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back, press down. With both feet, arms lift. Warrior one. And then we're bringing the arms by your side, leaning out. And then hands down on the mat or on the leg, right? If you can't reach the floor or you don't want to go down that far, you can be up here. And then we're just working to straighten the leg if possible. And then walking the hands around. So we're facing the side of the mat. Still in a fold. And again, you can change this up a little if you want. If you want to be a little wider, you can. If you want to bring the feet in a little, you could do that. Make sure that you're feeling the weight through that front part of the foot. Right? So when we relax down into the heels, we start to extend the rear end back, and that changes how this pose works. So we want to be toward the front. If you are coming down pretty low, if you've got a block, you could stack and rest your head on it or whatever you got. It's just another way to kind of relax into the pose. So it's hard to believe, right? Some of these poses don't seem very relaxing, but after you've done them for a while, you find an ease. Come on back up. Right? So asana means easy seat. Asana is the word for the poses that we do. So ideally, right, we will find some ease. Not at first, not when we're just starting out, but eventually. And we want to be in that space of ease. Um, Struggling is not what we want to do, right? There may be some mental struggle, right? Staying with the pose, staying disciplined to do the poses. But physically, we want to keep things on a pretty even state. So turning again, front of the mat. Now we've got left foot out, right foot back. Interlace the fingers. Deep breath. Fold forward. And back up. Step the back foot up, arms overhead. And we're in mountain again. Take a breath. Working on some balance. So let's step out into Warrior 3. We've got a little space in front of us. Hands together. Take a breath. And then we're stepping out with that left foot. And beginning to lean forward. As we're leaning, we're lifting that back leg, finding our balance. As we go, hands might stay to center, but you could bring them out to the side if that's going to be helpful for you. Keep that slight bend in the standing leg. It helps keep it active. And then set your foot back down. And same thing, but on the other side. So stepping out right. We're lifting as we lean. Steady with the breath. And then set your foot back down. Bicycle legs. And let's work on tree. So standing on the left, kickstand, or higher up. Steady here, nice and upright, shoulders back. And then setting down, we'll switch sides. Same thing, whatever you did on the one side, we'll do it on the other. And set both feet down to the mat. Bicycle out the legs. And then for mountain, we're just going to lift up the right knee. Foot is flexed, nice and strong, gazing, eye level or higher. Set it down, switch sides. And set the foot down. Bicycle legs. And then back to the top of the mat, arms overhead. Breath in and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog. On an inhale, we're moving forward to high plank. Hold here. You can always drop the knees, right? Sometimes it's just a lot. And then we're going to lower down. Head turns to the right, arms by the side. Take a few breaths. Head back to center. Let's set up for Sphinx pose. So we've got kind of resting on our elbows here. Hands pressing down. And you can have feet together or a little apart on the mat behind you. Pressing down, hands, pulling back the shoulders, steady that gaze. And then lowering down. Head turns left. Arms by your side. Remember my trick, push forward a little bit. If you're having trouble, resting the head, getting that ear resting on the mat. If you can, right? Sometimes tension in the neck and shoulders don't allow that, so don't try to force it, but we're going to work towards that. And then back to center. We're going to lift up. Flip the hands first, and then we're going to lift up head and chest, arms and legs. And lower down. You bring the hands out in front now. We'll set the forehead down. Toes in, heels out. That feels good for you. And moving back up. Tabletop, child's pose. Tabletop, the downward dog. And walk the feet up. Down to a seat on the mat. We're going to bring soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall here. Take a deep breath and then lean forward. Come on back up. And we're in cow face pose. So left leg is underneath. The knee is pointing out. The foot is back by the right hip. We're crossing that top leg over. And we're trying to get the knees more or less one on top of the other. Take your breath here and fold forward. And then come on back up. And we're going to see if you can set the foot down here, just to take a twist. So left hand is on the knee, right arm behind you. Sitting up tall, taking a twist. Back to center. And then switch sides. So right leg is under this one. Left leg on top. And then we're sitting up tall, holding forward. Come back up. We're going to have this left foot on the mat, right hand on the knee, left arm behind you. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center. Both legs out in front. Deep breath in, arms overhead, and then fold forward. Coming back up. Let's bend the knees. I'm going to turn here, but you don't have to. We're going to grab Yogi Toe Lock. So we've got a hold of those big toes or maybe just the feet. Lean back a little so you're balanced. Heels are lifted. And then extending halfway or extending the whole way. And then bending the knees, set the feet back down. Both legs out in front again. Inhale and fold. Back up. We're going to bend the right knee. Bring the foot next to the thigh, sitting up tall, and then folding forward, reaching down for the foot. And back up. Switch. And fold. Come on back up. Let's extend both legs out and then I'm just going to sit in the staff pose. So hands are pressing down. Fingers are pointing toward the toes. And maybe we're going to draw the feet back and then forward. We'll do a few of those. Just moving slowly with this. Last one. And then we're going to bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. Make sure you've got some room, either rocking back or lowering down. Take a few breaths, resting on your mat. Maybe bump the knees together. Soles of the feet are out on the outer edges of the mat. We're going to bring right ankle on top of left knee. Either staying here or maybe pushing that right knee away from the body. That might be all you need, right? That hip may feel very tight right there. If you have more space, we're going to draw that left thigh down toward the chest, interlace the fingers behind. And then set both feet down. And then we've got the left ankle on top of the right knee. Same thing, but whatever you did on the one side, we're going to do on the other. Trying to keep things even. And then setting both of your feet back down to the mat. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Maybe bring the arms up over your head if that feels good. And then knees back to center. Feet pressing down to the mat. We're going to walk the heels in, close to the body. Feet about hip width apart. Hands by the side. We're going to press down. Hands and feet. Lifting up for bridge. And then lowering down. Soles of the feet together again. Maybe hands on the belly. And then bringing knees into your chest. Let's rock a little side to side. Arms to a T or maybe goalpost arms. And then lowering the knees over to the right. Back to center and moving knees to the left. Back to center, extend, legs straight up, hands by your side, and then we're going to lower. You can go one at a time, both together, whatever works. And then just find a comfortable place. to be in Shavasana. Deep breathing, relaxing, feeling that support of the mat under you. Notice everywhere the body comes in contact with the mat. And we are just observing how we feel, what we notice about the body, about the sounds in the room, the physical sensations. These things keep us here. If thoughts arise, just release them. Notice them and set them aside. So if we are all seeing the truth in our own way, what is the truth? What is the way, right? If everybody thinks their way is the way, what is the way? So I can't tell you that. You have to find that out for yourself. Your way is not going to be my way, and it's not going to be your neighbor's way or your friend's way. So when we want to find the source of truth, we look within. So the yamas and the niyamas, and I think we're going to talk about them starting next week. Again, we keep talking about them, but those are they're a good place to start, right? There are some things we can pretty much all agree on. Stealing, right? Not good. Lying and doing things to hurt other people, right? Not good. That's a really good place to start. If you can stick to them, you pretty much have things covered. For anything else, look within, listen to that voice, right? We want to get very good at hearing that voice within us. So I think of it as the voice of spirit, right? It's that spark that we all share. Some people think of it as their conscience, right? That's another way of saying it. So we all know the right thing. We just may choose not to listen to that voice sometimes. I mean, it happens. Short term, we may get away with it. We may get something that we think we want, that we think we need. Long term, it will backfire on you catastrophically. There's no other way for that to end. So, and it's just really cause and effect, right? We've talked about karma. We've talked about that idea that we put out energy into the universe, it comes back. Sometimes with a vengeance. Right? So it may look like people get away with things, but they don't. They pay in the end. We all do. So it just makes sense, right, to try to do the right thing the first time around. I think about that, like I think about my house, right? I love old houses and I love the way they look. I love how they're made. But I would love an old house where no one has monkeyed with it, right? Because fixing something that 3 or 4 people have fiddled with over the years is so much harder than fixing things outright. And think about it that same way, right? You can knock away at the problem. You can put something temporary up there for now. You can just say, well, I'll get back to it later and pretend it's not happening. But eventually, it's going to need to be fixed. Whatever's going wrong, whatever you're trying to deal with, will have to be fixed. And the sooner you can do it and the right way, the less work, the less suffering, the less pain and genuine annoyance that it's going to be for you. So that's what we want to do. We want to listen to that voice and follow that path. Not necessarily because it is the right thing to do, but it's not just the right thing. It's the easiest thing. I shouldn't say easiest. It's not always easy, right? Because we have to step beyond what we may think we want right now. But in the end, in the long term, right, you will find an ease in your life. You will find things go more smoothly. Instead of feeling like you are struggling and fighting every step of the way, you will be able to jump in that current and just float and follow the path instead of fighting all the time, struggling. It does require, a certain amount of faith, right? Faith that this is where we need to go. The great thing about yoga is it's not unfounded faith. So you can try it, see what happens. If it doesn't work for you, well, I've never heard of anyone it doesn't work for, but you could be the first. But give it a try. What do you have to lose? See if things don't start to turn up in a way that is very beneficial. I think you would be amazed. Maybe you already have been. I hope you have been. I hope that the years that I've been teaching all of this stuff, someone has at least tried it. I think they have. But we'll see. So then moving, getting yourself going again. Fingers and toes, hands and feet. If you want to stretch, that would be good. And then making your way up to a seat. If you're not there already, we'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning for some yoga, and I hope you enjoy your Saturday. Namaste. Thank you. I won't be here tomorrow, and I'm going to try hard to get the right time when I schedule these things. But yeah, 9 o'clock on Monday, I will be here. I hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather. I think it's going to be cooler again next week, but it'll be nice for now. Okay, see you guys on Monday.